Okay, there we go. Let's get this ball rolling. What does everyone say, eh? Here we are. Get that over there. Get that over here. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. How is everybody doing? Sorry about that. I know I am starting almost an hour late. Like, I am 10 minutes shy. My apologies. Lost track of time. I had some errands I needed to run and do today, and I should have done them earlier this morning. But with the fallout from yesterday's stream with the drama related to AoS, I lost track of time. I ended up working on a script that I spent all morning working on. I'm 5 pages deep now. Almost 3,000 words, and I am... well... probably, hopefully, going to be working on that later this evening. We'll see. I'm optimistic, but I may be overly optimistic, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to get that working. Hoping to get that done today, if I can. What's going on, Mary? How you doing? Good to see you. Sorry for being late. I know, like I said, I'm an hour late, or almost an hour late. Just losing track of time, honestly. No better excuse than that, unfortunately. So, how you doing today? Oh, goodness gracious, cat. Leave it alone. Yeah, not gonna lie. Still a little miffed about yesterday's news with Age of Sigmar. That it's really irked me. Good now. Temp changes today weren't very nice though. Oh no, did it get colder for you guys or warmer? I know here Oklahoma's got schizophrenic weather, so sometimes it gets really warm and then really cold and then really warm. We had last week we had days pretty close to freezing, and then it turned around and lost track of time doing something fun? No, Final. That's the worst part. So I did more research, by the way, yesterday. I went and watched the videos. I read the leaks that came out for AoS on the Grand Alliance forum page. I did deep dives everywhere I possibly could, and the more I learned, the more pissed off I was becoming. There was no exaggeration in yesterday's stream. It is really bad, if it's true. Which, unfortunately, I've lived through the apocalypse of Warhammer Fantasy in the end times. It seems very likely that it could be true. 15C difference in under 12 hours? Yeah, no, I spent most of this afternoon in bed. I can't blame you, Miri. We had one day, we do Fahrenheit, so I apologize. I roughly know Celsius a little bit. But here it was near freezing. It was like 34 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing's 32, and it jumped up to 95 in a day or two, and it was crazy. So, and then we're back down to high winds and cold temperatures again, so I'm like, I just need them to figure this out. Yeah, it sucks with AoS. You're not kidding, guys. You want to talk about pissed off, Final? I was so pissed off. I woke up this morning, I slept in until about 6 a.m., because I normally get up at 4:30, so that's sleeping in. Got up, and I immediately did some more research and got to work working on a bullet point script. And I cannot stress this enough, bullet point script. I'm 5 pages in and almost 3,000 words. And I'm just talking about the history of what happened to Warhammer Fantasy and then talking about the leaks, and I'm telling you, it's bad. Oh, it's so bad. What little bit we heard about on stream yesterday from Josh, it gets worse, dude. It's so bad that if these leaks are true, I'm not... Oh, the cat's playing with the cord again. It's so... If the leaks are true, and I hope to God they aren't, the podcast is probably not going to happen. The whole point of the podcast we wanted to do was to deep dive into AoS lore, because nobody's done that yet. Everyone does 40k lore. Nobody has super deep dives into AoS lore. The only channel I can even think of is 2 Plus Tough, and he does maybe 20-minute videos, and it basically goes down to, this is really cool, go read the official stuff. And I like 2 Plus Tough. I don't think he's a bad YouTuber. There's no shade being thrown at him in any way, shape, or form. The problem is that since nobody's done any deep dives, nobody knows if they're going to like it enough to spend the money on it in terms of the lore, not just the models. And we wanted to be the first people to do it. Make a deep dive podcast talking about AoS. If the leaks are true, and I will be working on my video, recording it later tonight. Hopefully I can get it out tonight by like 8 p.m. God damn it, cat. Sorry. Hopefully I can get it out by 8 p.m. tonight. I doubt it. Maybe tomorrow morning. It's looking to be like a 40-minute video. And it's really bad. And if you're a fan at all of old Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar, or you just think like the history of Warhammer is cool, let me tell you, this will piss you off. The official stuff is too expensive for someone starting out in something. You know, yes and no. The models are expensive. There's no way if fans or buts about it. They are expensive. They are relatively high quality. They have introductory games. They're not as popular. Like, Kill Team is super popular with 40k. It's a squad-on-squad, 60, 70 bucks tops. That's US dollars. I don't know the euro conversion. I know euros are worth more than the US dollar at the moment. But, like, and then one squad, you can just play. You just need the rulebook, which you can find free versions of online, and just that one model kit. Build it, paint it if you want to, and play with it just like that. If you want to get into the full-size game, it's very expensive. But I'll say this. The time that you spend in the hobby with those models to the time, like the cost of the model itself, is actually really, like, not bad. It's just, it's a very weird way of thinking about it. I know, maybe it's cope. And if it is, I understand. But, like, I found ways, like, I'm getting my niece into it, and we're just going to play Kill Team. That's just one squad on one squad. And then maybe if she wants more, we can go there. It could still be okay. I feel like if they nuke AoS like that, then it'll definitely drive a lot of clicks. You're not wrong. Kill Team sounds like something easy for newbies. Yes, it is really easy, really good. There's a fantasy version of it with AoS, but at this point, don't buy any AoS shit. They have Warcry, which is their version of Kill Team, and it's supposed to be pretty good. You have Spearhead, which is like a mid-level kind of game, which is also nice. A little pricey, but not bad. But, like, at this point, just don't buy anything AoS. Okay, content-wise, I mean, it'll suck for the hobby. You're not wrong, and it will definitely drive a lot of clicks. But let me ask you this: do you think that killing Warhammer Fantasy was ultimately good for the hobby? It drove clicks, that's for sure. I love Warhammer Fantasy. I don't know what it is about it. Oh, perfect. I have the day off. Stolas, thank you. I'm glad you stopped by, man. I'm really sorry. I'm starting super late. I wanted to start an hour ago. Like, exactly an hour ago. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Life stuff, and I lost track of time doing stupid stuff. Good news is, I have a script for a video pretty much done. So, I'll be recording that tonight. It'll be a rant video, but be prepared. But yeah, Warhammer Fantasy's death was bad. It's bad for GW's reputation. It hurt Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar, I'll cover it in the video, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the hype around AoS up to this point has been artificial. Like, since 3rd edition, I think it's actually started to pick up. Like, actually, the hype in the community has started to pick up. But, like, early on, the legacy of Warhammer Fantasy tainted Age of Sigmar, and hardly anybody wanted to get involved with it. And now it seems as though, gee, I wonder what's on your mind. Yeah, I woke up this morning, and I was still super pissed off. Oh, not as angry as I was, because I did research after the stream yesterday, and I just got angrier and angrier and angrier, to the point I was actually yelling, and my wife was like, no, you need to stop talking. I can't handle you right now. And I love her to death. And she was even pissed, because we got her into AoS with the Sea Elves. And people can get things done very fast if it's about ranting. Yeah, there's that too. But, like, man, I loved Warhammer Fantasy, and to see this happen again, and I just got into AoS. Glad you picked up on my sarcasm. yeah. I've been so angry all day. I got up at 6, and I spent 5 hours working on a script, editing it as I went, and I've got 5 pages, a lot of words written typed up. It's yeah. I'm gonna lay into GW a little bit. I'm gonna be honest here. It could be cope, and I'm sure it is cope. I mean, but at the end of the day, these leaks aren't true. There's been a lot of inconsistencies with the guy who posted it. He has a good track record, but people have said as of late his posts seem a little schizoid. He's a little all over the place, highly inconsistent. He's been deleting videos, and today I find out the guy, or I guess it's a group of people, nuked the entire profile on the website. So it's gone. There is no more. Like the profile's still there, but all the posts that he posted about this stuff is gone. So there's a legit chance this could just be a hoax, and I hope to God it's a hoax. I really, really do hope to God it's a hoax. But the part that gets me is if it isn't a hoax and it's true, which unfortunately it's very believable, it's the disrespect. It's the disrespect of not just the fans, which is a thing, but like the disrespect of the history of the hobby. You know, I was pissed off how they treated Warhammer Fantasy because it was the thing that created Games Workshop. I understand it had its time. They were losing money on it, and mostly because of their fault, but you know, whatever. They were losing money on it. They almost went bankrupt. They had to have like the Middle Earth game was what saved their company. They were going to go under, and they got that, and it saved their company from bankruptcy because of how they handled Warhammer Fantasy, and then they decided they needed a new, like, fresh start. It does sound a little like rage bait, but realistically, these companies kill their franchises like this all the time. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, we've gone through this once already. But here's the thing. They wouldn't dare do this to 40K. 40K is their darling, and Games Workshop generally is pretty scared of the 40K community. Because if they piss off the 40K community, all of that money that's coming in, all their record-breaking profit goes with them. Hopefully it's a hoax. They did just announce the Spearhead subscription. Yeah, I hope it is. I really do. I hope it is, and if I'm sucking on hopium and copium, give it to me until I OD. But it does sound believable enough, and that's the problem. And I will be sickened to death if it is true. Because, again, like, the way they treated Fantasy, and they've continued to treat Fantasy, is a little bit like they're reluctant to go back. Like, they're embarrassed by it, you know? Which pisses me off, because it's their history. Like, you wouldn't have a Games Workshop if it wasn't for Warhammer Fantasy. And I'm not just, like, talking like, oh, it helped make the... Like, the name Warhammer comes from the Warhammer in Warhammer Fantasy. The weapon that Sigmar uses himself, the Warhammer, is that Warhammer. Like, you wouldn't have Warhammer 40K without it. You wouldn't have Games Workshop without it. You wouldn't have 99% of what we have now without Warhammer Fantasy, and they treat it like they don't like it, like they're embarrassed by it, and it pisses me off, because Warhammer Fantasy is great. It's one of the few things in this world that, like, every time I see it, it feels like I'm coming home. And I was never that into fantasy. Like, I loved the models and the aesthetic, but I couldn't get into it as a kid. I didn't have the money to get into it. And by the time I finally had a job to get into it, they killed it off, and I was a little pissed off about it, so I never gave AoS the chance. And literally 2 years ago, they finally released the Old World, and they bring back fantasy to a point, so I kind of lightened up on AoS. And now here I am again, about maybe going through the same thing. But like I said, like, the guy's account has been nuked. All of his major posts about it are gone. You can only find them archived or people who've reposted it on their profile. So it's possible it's a hoax. A lot of people are saying he's been very inconsistent lately. He has a good track record, but a lot of his posts have been inconsistent and been getting deleted, and now he's just nuked everything. So we'll see. We'll see. The ogres and orcs are legit interesting in Warhammer to me. The Warhammer orcs are easy the best. Yes, 100%. Did you know the reason why orcs are green is because of Warhammer? Before that, there were no green orcs. Warhammer made the first green orcs, and now almost all orcs are green. Right? And when they're not green, it's weird to people. But that's the reason why they were green to begin with, was because of Warhammer. And they're so cool. The ogres are great, too. I love them as much. My favorite faction of all time, my favorite aesthetic of all time, is the Empire of Man. I love the steampunk nature of it. I love the steampunk, like, tanks and the muskets and the traditional blend of fantasy and magic, and it's so freaking cool. I love Warhammer Fantasy to the point where the D&D world I've made, which it wasn't originally a D&D world, it was just. Is that a true fact? That's a neat fact to know. Yes, it is a true fact. Before the advent of Warhammer, there were no green orcs. Most of them were like pale skinned or black skinned or like dark skinned, you know, like dark purples or like super dark browns. And now, because Warhammer created the first green orcs, that's what orcs are. Believe it or not, Warcraft was originally just a rip-off of Warhammer, which is where the name comes from, and they made their orcs green because of Warhammer orcs. And that, ever since then, it just took off in the zeitgeist that orcs are green, which is crazy. And yet, the company that makes it acts like they're embarrassed by it, which pisses me off. I kind of thought D&D started that. Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah, well, believe it or not, you know where D&D initially comes from? It comes from war games. The guys Gary Gygax and his group of friends that made D&D, they were war gamers. They played the Napoleonic war game. I forget what it's called. They played that, and then they would role play. Like, they would start doing alternate history stuff, where like, oh, what if this battle went this way or this campaign went that way, and they would role play as the leaders of their armies. Blizzard really acts like their ideas in StarCraft are coincident. Yeah, it's really bad because they really just straight up copied Warhammer, and then Warhammer started copying StarCraft, which is the funniest thing to me. Did you actually just try to say zeitgeist? I probably did try to say zeitgeist. In America, it's a term that we've heard, like cultural zeitgeist is something I've heard a lot. So I may not be saying proper German words like kindergarten correctly, but I'll take it. Did I say it weird? I thought I said zeitgeist. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Zerg and Terrans are so blatant. You're not wrong. Exactly. Oh, then you have one of the fucking, the guys that are like the fucking, the Eldar. Forget the name, like the... Dude, I haven't played StarCraft in a long time, and I only played it like a handful of times. The Protoss have some fun ideas. Yeah. But yeah, that's, Anyway, yeah, you get the point that I'm getting at. Yeah, it really just irked me. And now it looks like potentially, and I will say that again, potentially they're going to be turning AoS into a cheap knockoff version of Warhammer Fantasy, which means, again, they could be fake, and I hope they are fake. It's always so weird to hear someone try to say random ass German words in a different language. My brother in Christ, I understand, believe me, but to be fair, what is English if not Germanic people trying to learn Latin so they can scream at Vikings? It's slightly Germanic. It's not very Germanic, and we've butchered the language, but, you know. Yeah, they're absolutely still just space elves. Yeah. I just know that they're never going to touch Warhammer like that. They're going to do things that they shouldn't do in Warhammer 40k, for sure, with Space Marines and whatnot, or, like, making female custodies, which is really just... like, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not even upset necessarily with female custodies existing. I do think it's stupid how they went about doing it, though. But, like, they're not going to mess with Space Marines. They're not going to get female Space Marines. They know where their money comes from. They don't want to piss off their fan base. And I understand that, you know. I'm not opposed to changes at all. I've said it before with my friends. I don't even necessarily hate the idea that 40k is going in a hope punk direction by bringing back all the Primarchs, and like we're coming. So like, you know, we in the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, it starts to decline into that grim darkness, and then in 40k they're starting to creep back up, and I'm okay with. But yeah, anyway, I'm okay with that as long as they earn it, and I think that they should. English actually borrows quite a few things from French because of the Normans and stuff, a Germanic language, but it split way... yes, it did split off way back. And it's... You know, funnily enough, and I'm not making fun of German language, it's just... Americans and English speakers tend to find German to be a very complicated language, or at least that's the perception. here is it's a complicated language, but my favorite German word is Unterseeboot, which is, I butchered that pronunciation, but which is just submarine, which just sounds like undersea boat, which is awesome. It helps make more models than making Custodes girls. If you like that faction, having enough options isn't bad. I agree, as long as it's, if you look at Old English and Old German, you see the similarities, but that's quite a bit back. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It was Germanic tribes that settled the island of Brittany way back when, which I think became the Britons, and then later we had the Saxons invade, and they became the Anglo-Saxons as they bred with the Britons. And then you had the Vikings invade, which brought a lot of Scandinavian language words to us, which is where we get the names of the days of the week. And then also you had leftover Roman, Latin, and then French. English is weird. English is a weird language. And then you have American English, which people often lambaste for being overly simplistic. But weirdly enough, American English, aside from just the general pronunciation, is actually more similar to Old British English. I love the history lesson. Thank you. U-boat for short, though. No one says Unterseeboot. I agree. I know it's U-boat. I learned, but like the fact that the full word is Unterseeboot, and it makes me laugh because it's just undersea boat. I love it though. Genuinely, I think German is a wonderful, wonderful language where the occasional words sound incredibly angry, and I'm okay with this. But yeah, a lot of people lambaste like American English, for example, as like simplistic or reductive or stupid. But weirdly enough, it's actually more closely related to the English that was brought to us from the British. They always say like the Southern drawl accent is really like a sign of low intelligence or whatever have you, and there's a lot of reasons why that's the case. None of them are accurate, but weirdly enough, Southern drawl is just a slow version of the British accent. If you speak with a Southern drawl accent, like a true Southern drawl, and then you speed it up, you're just British. That hard pronunciation of R's as well is also like a very traditional British thing to do. And then in the last 2 centuries, it became more like the common peasantry, and the aristocratic started to soften the R's in words, so that the word arse became the word os, which in America became ass, because the R was so soft, you know. And now you've got, them making fun of us for using things like hard R's when we speak in a lot of American words where they like soften it, but in reality it's actually closer to the way the British used to speak, 200 years ago. I also just dropped the word hard R in a term of a historical context, so enjoy that. I'm glad you're enjoying the history lesson, honey. We are very descriptive with things. Yes. German is awesome. My second favorite word is the German word for ambulance. Was it Krankenhaus, I think? I'm sure you're just sitting there going like, Jesus, I'm listening to an American butcher my language. And yes. Why did your name on YouTube... Why did you change your YouTube channel name? Lord Nerd, I changed it only because I'm the Autistic Wizard on Instagram and TikTok because the Raging Wookiee was taken. And since I already had the profile picture, I thought I'd go ahead and just swap it over. I still use Raging Wookiee in a lot of my other things. Krankenwagen. Thank you. Krankenwagen. Krankenhaus is what, the hospital? I don't know. So anyway, I just thought I'd use the Autistic Wizard on YouTube and just make everything the same. It just makes it easier for people on other platforms to find me. I'm Kronk in my wagon. Thank you, Josh. Honestly, genuinely, the German lessons in the chat and the, oh no, it's actually quite fun, and I'm talking about how fucked up German is. It is always good. Yes, it's very nice to finally talk about something that's not freaking AoS for once. Because I've been on a rant today. My wife is sitting there going like, oh, thank God, he's talking about something else. Yes, Krankenhaus, it's a house where sick people go to get better. Yes. Which is way cooler than the word hospital, which I think we get from the French anyway. And in my humble opinion, the French aren't people, ergo they don't qualify for human rights. If I'm beating Final Fantasy VII without green or red materia... Oh, okay, you're beating Final... Okay. Be my guest, my guy. I've actually never played Final Fantasy VII. I know a lot about it. I just have never played it myself, which I'm sure is a gaming sin, but... Have you ever beaten all 3 Halo games with nothing but a plasma pistol in Melee? Because I have, and it's not fun. Don't do it. Yeah, I love German history too. Not like the cringy World War II history. Just, nah, JRPGs in general are overrated. I've never been a huge JRPG fan. I'm not a huge Eastern video games fan. There's something about Eastern video games that just feel weird to me. Like, the menus are odd, like, and the games always feel really floaty, and I don't know. I guess I'm just more of a Western games fan, which is a shame, because I feel like I'm missing out on some really good games, but Eastern games are just not my jam. They just don't jimmy my jams. Oh, by the way, Final, I don't know if you're still there or not. I wanted to tell you... Oh, you are. There you are. Are you guys going to do a live playthrough of Dark Heresy when it comes out? Oh, yes. Yes, I will. I need to finish my playthrough of Rogue Trader. I started one when the Arbites came out, and I never went back and finished it. I need to go... I should probably do that on stream. That would be nice. Honestly, I should probably stream playing Space Marine with Josh at some point, because... don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty damn good bulwark. Of course, bulwark with fencing weapon doesn't really take that much skill, because all I do is spam the block button, but it works. Sam Lamel. I wanted to say, I told my wife last night, and I didn't have a chance to properly thank you, so I'm going to do it here on stream. Thank you for offering to send us that mini of the month, man. I feel like I got to do something nice for you now, too. So, prepare yourself. Something nice will be coming your way in the next couple of months. I just need to have some money. I'm in Act 4 still for Rogue Trader. Dude, it's so good in the beginning, and then you hit a point, and the game just turns into a little bit of a slog, almost like they had to rush the ending, which is a shame. Not that it's bad, by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually really good. It's just, it feels like the ending was just a little bit rushed on it. Which is kind of how I feel about Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Act 3 just kind of... Yeah, well, Wizards of the Coast ruined that game because they pissed off Larian Studios, and Larian decided they weren't going to finish it or do the DLC they had in mind for it, because they were going to do Azamar and other races. I think Shadow Kai was included, and the only class they couldn't do was the Artificer. So they were going to do, like, some other stuff, like some new subclasses and stuff. It would have been really cool. I have to magnetize these bad boys, and I'm a little scared to do so. Alright. This is the last bag, by the way, everybody. After this, I get started on wearing a respirator and doing a Bane impression for... however long I stream. And then after the stream's done, I'm going straight into video recording, because I'm going to have to get into rant mode. I'm going to have to get pissed off towards the end of the stream so I can do it. Alright. Hey, can you quit chewing on your brother's tail, please? You're pissing Chewie off, and... Chewie, fuck you. Dog. We found out last night the dog, my dog, the big dog, knows how to get into the cat food container. He knows how to open the cat food container and has been eating cat food this whole time. And I have figured out a solution. See, the problem was last night we were going to... Like, my wife was over the latch containers. She's like, they're annoying, and if the dog can get in them, there's no point in keeping them. And I agree with her. I was going to find another container until I discovered a simple workaround to this problem. Very simple workaround, actually. And that workaround is, I'm just going to turn the container around. You can't open it if you can't get to the latch. Well, nice, lol. I cursed you. I try not to on stream. I'm just really pissed off today. I curse a lot in real life. I try not to do so here because I know it's a bit family friendly, but didn't know how PG-13 you were or not. No, I cuss a ton. You can ask my wife if she's still in the chat. I drop F-bombs pretty regularly. Bad puppy, you're not wrong. I've been feeling bad for him because he acts like his stomach hurts and he's all pitiful. And then it turns out he's just eating cat food the whole time. I know. No. Little shit. Love him, though. But he is a bad dog. Him and the puppy both right now. Well, the puppy actually today hasn't done anything to piss me off. But yesterday, oh my gosh. I try not to curse or blaspheme and try not to come across as rude. I get you. I try not to as well, and I'm not the best at not cussing or not using the Lord's name in vain, and I need to be better about it. I mean, not to get, I would say political, not to get philosophical here, especially after being derailed yesterday with somewhat of politics. I try not to get overly religious on stream, but I am a Christian, and I need to be better about acting the way that I'm supposed to, so. Okay. There we go. Console is washed. This is actually really detailed console. You can't quite see it on camera, unfortunately, but it is very detailed. And it looks like there's a spot for a couple of cables I'm going to have to put in, which is going to be annoying as hell. I tried being polite and people get annoyed and pissed off, so I just gave up. You know, Mary, that's... Be better. Thanks, honey. Mary, no one can blame you. Look, I'm a very simple person. I'm not going to tell anyone how they should live their life. I'm going to live my life the way I wish to, and as long as I'm not hurting, and as long as you're not hurting anyone around you or anyone who's underage, I really don't care with how you live your life. Just as long as it's not illegal, and you're not inflicting pain onto others unnecessarily. I say that because, unfortunately you're going to inflict pain on somebody, whether you mean to or not. It happens. I'm not religious. I just know that it'll upset people who are good Christians or whatever, and people who get upset about public blasphemy aren't worth it, though. Like I said, I can't... I hate people who act like that. I have a neighbor who's like that. And, I got a tattoo one time. A good friend of mine passed away, and I got a tattoo, which is an inside joke between the two of us. I got it tattooed on my arm, and she saw the tattoo and told me that, the Bible says you're not supposed to tattoo yourself. And I was very polite, was very kind, and I turned around and I said, and the Bible says that you're not supposed to cut your hair either, and my head was practically shaved at the time. So, I don't want to browbeat anybody with religion. And people who do that, or people who cause a stink just because they're offended, you can control whether or not you're offended. That's the whole point. If you're emotionally mature enough, you can control your reactions to things. You can't control what actions other people cause, so why worry about what other people are doing necessarily, unless it's a true act of evil, Okay. Hopefully that was in reference to the tattoo thing. I plan on getting more, so when she sees that, it'll be hilarious, but... Okay, I think this is coming along pretty good. I grew up in a religious school, so I got some trauma, but it's not the fault of the truly faithful people. Exactly. There are bad people in every facet of life. You're never going to get rid of bad people. They just exist. And it sucks that they do. And it sucks that there are people out there who use what is supposed to be a good and personal thing. I need to be very careful. A good and very personable thing to inflict pain on other people. And I say, fuck those people. Reminds me of what a friend had once said, your body is a temple of God. Have you ever seen a cathedral from the inside, man? Yes, yes, I agree, 1,000%. You know what? Like I said, if I'm not doing anything that's not hurting anybody, I don't see what She also tried to tell me when I was a kid, my neighbor, that dogs don't have souls, and this was shortly after my family dog was put down, and I wrote her off immediately. I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, you can't tell me a dog who has, you know, an amazing personality, and every dog is unique to themselves, their personality. You're never gonna find a dog that's exactly the same, no matter how hard you try. That there's no soul there, you know. Especially when you can't even tell me what exactly is a soul, you know. And that's come from a Christian. I am 100% a believer, you know. But why would you tell that to a fucking 12-year-old kid? Dogs don't have souls. So you mean I'm not going to see my family dog again when I go to heaven? Like, get out of here. Well, we get weirdly philosophical in this again. Oops. See, that's probably the biggest shame of the whole thing, man. I really didn't want to have to. I was going to start off my my script with I didn't want to have to make this video because I thought it'd be funny to reference the cliche, but I really didn't want to have to. I have a motto I live by: be careful what you say to kids. It's easier to build children up than it is to fix adults. Yes, exactly. No matter what you do, you're going to traumatize a kid. That's the nature of the beast. It's going to happen because kids have no frame of reference. Every time they get a really bad punishment, it's the worst punishment. Because if a kid who's never been spanked before gets spanked, it's traumatic, right? But you know where the fine line is. You know that you shouldn't be tearing children down. You're going to give them confidence issues. You're really going to mess them up further in life by doing that. You're not helping anybody. And what are you going to... Like, if you're doing that because you're pissed off, all you're doing is making yourself feel better. You're not making the kid feel better. So, want to know a funny German? Yes, please tell me funny German. I'd love to know. I think that should be clean enough. I'm just going to go over it one time. Absolutely certain. Every surface is scrubbed here. There we are. Germany is still taught somewhat known as the country of poets and thinkers, right? Dichter und Denker. I hope I said that right. Okay. Dichter und Denker. Already I'm laughing as a 13-year-old child over the term dichter as an English speaker, so I'm in. Dichter is poet, and dichter is denser. Ah! Okay. That's clever. These pieces are freaking fragile. They bend every time I brush over them with my toothbrush, which is terrifying. But the slang word for dicked also means pretty fucking drunk. Okay. And here I am laughing that it sounds like dicked her. Like, I'm not going to make that joke, actually. We're taking it back. Got to be somewhat family friendly, unfortunately. I've already cussed a few times. At this point, what does it matter? Someone who is dickter than someone else is absolutely not walking home. Okay. Wash off all that soap. there's gotta be a piston here somewhere, right? Is that scene in Inglourious Bastards about ordering 3 drinks true? Yeah, like the German 3 versus what he does in the movie, which is 3. I'm curious myself. I am missing a piece. This is probably not the end of the world, but we'll find out. So it looks like I am missing a piece like this in the end. Okay, I had a feeling this was going to happen. It's a small piece, does not matter too terribly much in the grand scheme of things, because I have plastic rod. I need to figure out the diameter here, because I think this looks about like that. Yeah, okay, so this is probably about the right diameter. This. Nope, and I'm poking the microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, so if I needed to, I could make a piece that's about the same size with this plastic rod. Haha! Even though this was an accidental purchase, and I did not mean to buy any of this plastic rod with multiple varying diameters, I just dropped another piece, but that's okay. I should be fine. It's not in the bag, though. I'm gonna find it. I'm sure if it's here. It could be in the box. It could be in any of the other bags. That or the cat ate it, which is a joke. Darling, if you're watching, he hasn't been anywhere near the model pieces. Okay, is it in here? Wait a minute. Ha! It was already in here. It just fell off the gate. We're good. Crisis averted, everybody. It's also really cold water today instead of the warm water I had yesterday, which I didn't think would have that much of a change, but it's definitely. You were gonna say Trip probably ate it. Most likely, if it was any of the animals, it would have been Han the puppy for sure. Look, everybody. Robot eyeballs, kind of, that you can't really see. Like you did with the knife on the back of one of my models. You're not wrong. I am excited to get this built. I'm ready for this to be ready and done with. And today I get to do my best Bane impression. Of course, I'm not sure how this is going to work with my beard. I don't know if I can get a good seal with the respirator mask. But I'm not shaving. Because my wife says she'll divorce me if I shave, so wish me luck, boys. Especially you, Final. Please wish me luck. I want Tyranid Biotitans to come back. Yeah, aren't there still Biotitans? You did say that once, honey. You did. It was a joke. It was absolutely a joke, but you did say that once. To be fair, you said grounds for divorce. There we are. I don't remember this. It was a long time ago. A very long time ago. We were still dating, I think. Grounds for divorce has been a long-running joke with our marriage and our relationship. So, if anyone's wondering if she's being serious, she is not. Yet. Yeah. I'm still thinking about Age of Sigmar, which is a shame. I never see Biotitans in the newer stuff. Well, it's because the Hierophant Biotitan is a Forge World model, or at least it was at one point in time, right? So it's not like they're going to come up with necessarily a new one unless they convert that model to plastic, which is possible. They converted the Cerastus Knights to plastic a year ago, 2 years ago. Almost went to Barack Obama there for a second, but I think it was 2 years ago is when they did the Lancer, and then they did the other two last year, both of which I have now. So there's a chance that they could convert the Hierophant Biotitan to a plastic miniature, which, if they did that, would be awesome. I don't know if they will, is the problem. They've kind of... Forge World conversions to plastic are usually a big event, and they don't normally have a lot of build-up or fanfare, which is weird. It's like once they're out as plastic, they like... You see the kits everywhere, they're promoting it everywhere. You'll see creators online. If you watch any people who do hobby stuff, like I watch Pete the Wargamer, when one of them got converted to plastic, he bought the Lancer, I think it was. I think they still recognize the Heridan. I'll have to check that out. I have not looked into the Biotitans in quite some time. Okay. Let me go real quick and dump these out, and I will be right back. I'm going to go dump these out, wipe down my station, because those are now washed completely, and next up is get a microfiber cloth and dry the ones that got splattered on from the toothbrush, and we're going to start cutting resin off of the gates, which is very exciting. I'm actually super, super stoked. So, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back, and then we'll get into it. So, be right back. You're going to watch Dead Air for a while. Keep the chat entertained, honey. Okay, I'm back. I hope nobody said any racial slurs in chat while I was gone. What's the German word for bra? Leave it to Josh. I was making a joke about racial slurs because of my best friend, who would not actually drop a racial slur in the, keep them from flapping. Oh my gosh. I don't know if Miri would appreciate that. I've got a few fake German words myself. The shortened one or the actual one? Big oof. Have you heard any fake German jokes that are really only funny in English, Miri? Because if you haven't, let me tell you, I've got... Wait till you hear the fake German word for toilet. It's Poopenfarten. Alright. We're about to do something highly ill-advised, ladies and gents. Gotta take my headset off, though, for this one. Yeah, Poopenfarten. That's the fake German word for toilet. Yes, that's why it's a fake German word. But to the American ear, it sounds like a German word. But it's also a combination of the word poop and fart.
Well, how on earth do I sound? Because I feel like I sound like an idiot. And not just because of the things I say, but the sounds that I'm making with this mask on my face. Okay. Well,
we're going to try this first. Take that down off my face for just a second. It sounds like someone talking to a plastic cup. That's why my dad said I need to do Bane impressions all day today.
So, it is I, Bane. Nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Well, it's either this or I get respiratory infections from the resin dust. So you guys tell me, do I risk the respiratory infection? Okay, I do not like that noise. Yep.
This may be a little too much for the Fantic to handle, unfortunately, which would be a shame. Yep. Maybe don't risk the respiratory infection. That would be preferable. I would prefer you stay healthy. Thank you, darling. Well, seeing as how my wife has spoken, that's what I'm going to have to stick with for now. But in order for me to do... I'm just going to take this off for a second.
Since I can't use the Fantic for this, it's too much. It's already overheated the engine because it got stuck twice. I'm just going to have to bust out the actual Dremel tool. So, hooray. Suction not good enough, or is it not? It's actually the cutting blade is getting caught. It doesn't have enough torque, so it actually gets stuck, and it got stuck twice. So what I'm going to try is busting out my dad's really old Dremel, since it's going to have enough torque to get through the resin. It's the thicker gates are the problem. The Fantic is a perfect hobby tool, but the problem isn't the hobby part itself. The problem is I'm doing something I don't think the Fantic was originally designed to do. So we're just gonna... Well, it's nice to know that this is the high quality entertainment you people come here for. Okay. Have you updated your life insurance beneficiary yet? That could change my mind. For legal reasons, my lawyer has advised me to not answer that question. Okay. She's totally kidding. Just so everyone's aware, no one judged my wife. It was a joke. Okay. Come on now. This piece is being overly stubborn and it's pissing me off. Not as much as those AoS leaks, but it's definitely doing something to me. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's just do this. We'll keep the Fantic piece in there. We'll just do that. This bit is rusted shut, and I don't have the strong enough screwdriver to pry that loose. Because I gave my screwdriver to my brother-in-law, and I have not gotten it back yet. It's true, she wouldn't. And it's not just because of the health insurance either, which is really good. All right. There we go.
All right, let's go.
All right, back on we go.
He is the autistic one. He tends to know how things work. It's true, unless it's trains, because I'm not a train autistic, as I have told my friends many a time. I legit just started to look...
I legit just started to look for the goggles that are currently on the top of my head, because I couldn't find them. I said I was autistic, not that I was intelligent.
Let's try it out. This is going to be super annoying, I'm sure. Keep going. Weirdly enough.
Okay. Weirdly enough, my special interest when it comes to ships is actually specifically 18th century, 19th century sailing vessels. Congratulations, you now know more about me than most people do. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to make this work. Believe it or not, the vacuum cleaner held up a lot better than I thought it was going to originally. This, in theory, could work. In theory. I know what to do. I don't have my screwdriver kit because my brother-in-law has it. But I have cheap files. Yeah, let me tell you. Ships, I know too much about. I have a specific type. I have a specific nation's ships from that same time period, the Age of Sail, that I'm a huge fan of. I truly am the autistic person of the group when it comes to any group that I'm in. Okay, this is starting to really irk me. I can't get this Dremel piece. This piece is too small. This piece is freaking jammed. A flathead, my kingdom for a flathead. This'll work. Are you freaking kidding me? Son of a bitch. So much for my no cussing rule. This is actually turning into a bit of a nightmare. Knights, I believe, her interests are the Sea Elves of AoS. The Ideneth Deepkin. She do love them little suckers. Come on. Dude, this is so rusted shut. Do I really have no other choice? I don't think I have any other choice. Okay. I'm going to have to try to make the Fantic work. There's no other way to do it. The bit for the Dremel is so rusted shut because it's such an old Dremel, I can't get it to separate. I found this wrench tool that has a flathead in it that is able to loosen the top, but the problem is the top is so rusted to the base at the moment that any attempt to loosen it just rotates the entire bit in your hand, and there's the vice grip on the Dremel is not tight enough to hold it down. So I'm going to have to use the Fantic. Let's try that again. I'll just have to go low and slow. Is really what it boils down to. I just need to be careful and take my sweet time. Well, this might be a bust today on the Dremel. I have killed the Fantic twice, or 3 times, excuse me, since attempting to do this. The Dremel would be the faster tool and would be more helpful on these larger gates, but it's not working. The Fantic either just doesn't have enough juice in it, which is a shame because I literally charged it yesterday, and I haven't been using it, and I don't know why that's happening. And the Dremel, the bit is so rusted shut, I can't get it to open up. This Porphyrion is getting lucky. You're not wrong. Final, it is. I'm yelling in the microphone. I'm sorry. Porphy's undefeated, but I'm just going to have to use nippers to cut the worst of these gates off, and I'm just going to have to pray that I'm very careful with this. But shouldn't be too much of a problem, I think. I can probably do this. It's just going to take longer. And I'm shooting bits and pieces off if I'm not careful. So I need to take my time. Which means this stream has just gotten infinitely longer. I am going to take this to my dad's house, and we're going to use the vice grips to hold that bit down. And if I can open it up tonight, I can use the Dremel tomorrow, which is really all that ultimately matters. The rest I can just sand down or cut down with a blade. So that'll be fun. And this is what's going to mount those missiles on, and I'm going to have to cut holes into that to magnetize it. But for the time being, why don't I just trim like that. Ooh, careful, Zach. Down. That's okay. Man. I'm waiting for a piece of the cutter to go flying. Yeah. Well, it almost did. That's the best part. I don't know. It probably was caught on camera, but the Fantic bit is actually much more narrow in diameter than the actual piece here that goes into the actual Dremel. I can't get the top separated. It just will not come loose no matter how hard I try. And the Fantic bit was like wildly oscillating. So I'll just need to be careful. But that's okay. We cut these pieces down. We'll be fine. I'll just have to take it low and slow. Like cooking a brisket. Which is something that only a very few people will get. And if anyone else is a chef in the chat, please let me know. Not bad. Great, but not bad. On the bright side, though, no respirator. This is going to be a bitch to cut off. I'm going to have to use the saw or a Dremel for that one. Yeah, final. I've been trying to get my wife into 40K. After the potential of possibly losing her sea elves, the Ideneth, I don't know that that's going to happen. It is hopefully, you know, it is a rumor, so hopefully it's wrong. I really, really, really hope. I'm desperately hoping and coping beyond all measure. That's not going to happen. I'm going to cut that off. That's fine. There we go. No luck with space elves? No, not really. If the Exodites were a thing, if there was an Exodite model, there's a chance. There's a chance. But, you know, the problem is, Final, there's no space orcas in 40K. And that's it. We found, like, a giant sea turtle. And we found, if they get rid of the Ideneth Deepkin, I'm going to be so mad. Honey, everyone in this chat would be mad for you. And if they're not, they're lying. Okay, they may not be lying, but, like, I'll be mad at them if they're not mad. Okay, cut away from the piece. Cut away from the piece. And she wanted to paint the shark models in there like orcas, and I thought that would be sick. I may be making myself more work later down the line, as I just realized, but honestly, at this point, fuck it. I need to get them off the gates anyway. Cut away from them all. What the fuck? I'm cutting like a good, what, 1/4 of an inch into that piece of resin, and it just snapped off cleanly from the bottom. Huh. Well, that's nice, I guess. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Violent orcas with harpoon guns on the back. She wants to get her Achelian Eidolon? The giant space sea turtle, because giant sea turtles are cool. If I said yes, would you believe me? There we go. Cat, will you leave it alone, please? He insists on trying to sit on the square that is the bottom of that stand, and it just rocks the whole thing. Alright, I warn you, if you hear dogs whining or snarling, it is the vacuum cleaner. He is coming to the room. The Dark Lord Vacuum. Okay. Now, this is my wife's favorite part on every single night that I build. This right here. Honey, if you're still in the chat and you're watching, do you know what this piece is? I don't know if she's there or not. Or even if she's caught up to live yet. She calls this particular piece the Dick Banner. And it makes me laugh every single time. Every single time. She hates it, by the way. She thinks it's really stupid and makes the model look dumb. It is the crotch banner, but she calls it the Dick Banner. And she hates it. I put that on my Knight Preceptor. I don't want to say it out loud in front of all these people. It doesn't matter. It's too late. I've already said it. I put it on my Knight Preceptor, and she's like, I love it, except for that. That is stupid. Why does he have a dick banner? And I said, well, funny you say that. It's supposed to carry the icon of the house, you know, denote it to other people. It's important. And she goes, yeah, I hate it. That's really dumb. Oh, this piece is already... I didn't even touched it yet, and this piece is already snapped clean. Funny. Looks like someone's already taken something to it, and I haven't even... Huh. It does. I'm not going to deny it. It does look weird. That was making a lot of noise. I don't like that. Yeah. I can't believe there's a surreal feeling here with what I'm doing. As I kind of mentioned yesterday, this is my favorite model of all time that GW makes. Favorite model of all time. I've wanted one for a long time. 9 years. I remember when they came out. And I'm sitting here now finally cutting the pieces of this model off of some sprue gate. And I am like very, very close to being able to glue these things together. I don't know that I'm going to believe that this model is even done once I build it. Like, I'll be like, this isn't real. This is all just a stupid dream. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel so sad. Oops. That was so perfect on the timing. Oh my god, my heart skipped a beat. Holy shit. It scared the fuck out of me. Woo, okay. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. Yeah, so I was cutting the waist off of its sprue gate, and I cut the two smaller pieces, because the last time I cut the big piece snapped, and the second I cut the second smaller piece, this went flying this way across my desk, and scared the shit out of me. So, yes, you did. Something did go flying, and you missed it, unfortunately. Woo! Oh my god. Maybe we fix the Dremel and then you can continue. Maybe. Maybe I stick to the smaller pieces for now. If it's got anything remotely large in terms of a gate that... I don't know. I mean, how big was that gate? It wasn't very big. Hey, what's going on, Alec? Oh my god. Woo! Okay. Alright. Gotcha. Okay. Wow, how big was that gate? I mean, it's that big. I mean, surely it can't be... Man, but I was cutting the smaller pieces. If it has a gate that big, I just can't touch it. That's what it boils down to here. Holy shit, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, I'm so glad it was a gate that went flying and not a piece. And I'm so glad it didn't go flying into another piece. Resin is very fragile. Whew. Okay, here we go. Not gonna lie, that one made me a little nervous because I was just terrified of ruining anything in general. Whew, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's take this one. And we're going to go ahead and start with the big one this time on this one, because I remember this one. Okay, that one cut clean. And that one's good. Okay. And I'm trying my best. Like, on all of these, I'm trying my best to leave a good amount of the gate on the model, so I'm not cutting anywhere close to it. I just need to be very, very careful, is what it boils down to. It's okay, hon. It's just a vacuum cleaner. You don't have to growl at it. It's fine. It can't hurt you. Puppy's sitting over here, like, starting to growl at the vacuum cleaner. It's cute. It's cute when he's not trying to destroy my backyard. That's the main caveat. This is already cut. It's not cut. Actually, they broke off the gates. Your puppy really doesn't like your robot. Neither does the big dog. They both no big fan of robot. Robot scary. Robot make vacuum noises. And one time it ran over my foot, and it hurt, and I cried out. And Chewy, my wife wasn't home for this one. Chewy started snarling at it, which is hilarious, because he was like, "I will protect you, Dad. I will save you, Father." And then all he did was snarl at it. And then I said I was fine and pet him, and he kept looking at it like, I don't want it to get anywhere close to us. There we go. Our dogs are pretty good dogs for the most part. You should click the funny parts of streams for shorts. I am thinking about doing that. The one that went flying, for sure. I am definitely thinking about doing that one. I think that'll be great. Put that up on Instagram or something. Holy moly. Oh, that's good stuff. Hell, half the reason I'm doing the stream is to double dip in content, if I'm being honest. I can come back, take a look at what I've recorded, and use that in a video if I want to document my building process. Yeah, Alec, Final knows his stuff. If you have not subscribed to Final Gaming, you absolutely should. He's a great guy, one of the nicest people I've ever met, and is half the reason I got my start in content creation to begin with. The other half was I was driving my wife and friends absolutely crazy talking about the model that I'm currently cutting off of sprue gates and trying very hard not to break. Currently. Nope, we're not doing this one. This one would be one of those that would break, I think. I learned something, by the way, guys. I did not know that there was a technical name or a scientific name. You see these little flaps right here of resin that kind of like... It's supposed to be inside this hose, and you can see kind of like that piece that sticks out in the middle that you can move with your finger. What's going on, Luke? Honestly, man, I'm just telling you now. Trying not to scare the crap out of myself with sending pieces going flying. So, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. This piece right here. It's called a shim. It's called a shim. Did not know that was a thing. I didn't know there was an actual scientific term for that, but it is a shim. Says so in the instruction booklets for how to deal with Forge World resin. Here I am learning something new every day. Alright, let's cut out my... What is going on? Oh no! Oh, yep. It is a lot of parts, my guy, and this is only some of them. There's more over here off camera that you can't quite see all of yet, but it's gonna be a nice, nice addition to my army once it's done, and I am looking forward to painting it. Oh my god, this is gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be a long time. I'm gonna get a lot of painting streams out of this bad boy for sure. All right, I gotta go pick that up. If I catch you with one of these again, I'm beating your ass. You understand me? I don't care how cute you are. You gotta stop getting into my stuff. Bad dog. Am I pre-ordering the Destrier? I don't know. I know for a fact I'm getting some Blackout models, which I am very much looking forward to at the end of the month. I want to know more details on the Destrier. I know I want one. I told my wife about it. I want to get another Questoris, and she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. We can get you another Questoris. It's no big deal. And then I sat there and was like, or I can wait until after Wednesday and see what the Destrier details are, and I will absolutely get it. And I'm telling you right now, whoo, I am looking forward to it. If I get a Destrier, I don't know how it's going to play on the tabletop. All I know is I want one, and I need one. Imagine Games Workshop announces all plastic Porphyrion tomorrow, and you just went through doing all that resin for nothing. You're not wrong, but here's the thing. It's not for nothing. I have a piece of history, and they can't take that away from me. I can now tell all the people, like, I built the Porphyrion back when it sucked because it was made out of resin and toxic and could kill people. And it was super fucking fragile, and... Oh, sorry, I'm dropping F-bombs. But basically tell them, like, it sucked when I was younger. You kids these days have it so good. I'm painting some Eliminators for the Penumbra Reapers. Hell yeah. Is it just, like, one squad's worth? The unit card is out on Warcomp. I need to look at it. But I want to get the deets on not just the model kit itself. I want to know when the release date is so I can kind of have that projected there. If I have, or if we have the money, I should say. Not I, because as much as I would like to brag, I am not the breadwinner when it comes to my household. And I'm okay with this. This one already broke off of its resin gate, so I don't need to worry about it. I'm thinking the Eye of Terror stuff is hitting Sunday previews either this week or next. I could see it, and I'm very excited to see what they do moving forward. I really, really want to see. I really want to see what they have in store with Adepticon. I want to be fired up again. I so badly want to be fired up again for Warhammer. It's really hard right now after yesterday to be fired up for anything Games Workshop, but I can at least be fired up for 40K. So. That's honestly what I'm doing, and waiting for the plastic so I can gloat about how I don't have to do any work. Joke's on you, Luke. I have built a plastic Cerastus Knight. In fact, I have built 1/8 of a Cerastus Knight in plastic. It's worse in plastic than it would have been in resin. I'm just going to say that now. They basically take parts like this and cut it in half. And you're going to have to figure out how to glue them together without any seams, whereas on the Cerastus Knights, they just come as one whole piece. I'll give you an example. This is a thigh piece. This is a shin piece that's supposed to fit together. The idea being you can just slot this into this piece and you're fine. But on the Cerastus plastic knights, you have to glue them to glue the thigh piece together, glue the shin piece together, and then glue them together like that. Just a bigger pain in the neck. Yeah, just the 3-man squad. That's nice. At least you'll be able to knock them out pretty quick. But I hope the paint job comes out really, really good. I'm looking forward to. I'm sitting here confused. The Eye of Terror. Yeah, so the Eye of Terror is, well, I mean, it's the, well, I guess it was the largest, I guess it's a warp rift, not a warp storm, the largest warp rift in the galaxy. So, just to give you an idea here, it is like an open bleeding wound straight into the Eye of Terror, into the warp called the Eye of Terror, and it's existed since the Horus Heresy, I believe. It's been open since the Horus Heresy. During the events of the Siege of Terra, I think after Horus's death it opened up. It's just a really big hole in reality. That a lot of the Chaos Space Marines fled into after the events of the Horus Heresy. So you're not missing too terribly much there. It's just the name of it. I think now the largest warp storm is the Cicatrix Maledictum that cuts the galaxy in half. So it now outscales the Eye of Terror, but it is not itself a rift necessarily, so it's not just a direct open portal to the Immaterium. Is it just me, or did I just notice Final's in the chat? Final is in the chat. My wife was also in the chat. I think we've had a lot of people dip out now, so I think it's just us three hanging out, but I'm fine with that. Interesting, I might end up getting the resin one then. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, they're expensive no matter what you do. If they get the plastic version, they're going to be a lot cheaper, I will admit. I made it on time today. You did. In fact, the only person who was not on time today was me. I was an hour late. For minis, I'm going to be happy when I finally decide which Marines I'm going to make into a morally somewhat decent arsonists. I understand. There's a guy, Wilson Family Jewelry, who's hopped in a couple of times in England. He is making White Scars. He's making White Scars Second Company, and they're almost all completely flamers. So 62 in flamers, I believe, was the count at last, with even the like dreadnoughts and outriders and all that stuff. It's terrifying. Real Luke, nice. I've been doing work, so I couldn't be able to join. I understand. Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's no big deal. I appreciate you stopping by either way. It's super nice. Hello. Hi, honey. It's nice. Good to see you. Alec Nerona, I think the Eye of Terror existed since the War in Heaven, but it has since been reopened. You're not wrong. Even Perturabo was able to see the Eye of Terror. It just wasn't visible in real space. It wasn't sealed. It just wasn't open. It was closed, and now it's like permanently open now. Miri, you've got 5 people watching. Honestly, the number count just bumps up and down like crazy, and I think it's probably just updating from YouTube servers and lagging on their side. Because like right now it says I got 4 people watching, and earlier it said I had 3 people watching, and then before that it was 9 people watching, and then 6 people watching, and then 2 people watching, and then sometimes it cuts down to 1. I'm really not worried about the number, because honestly, I'm just happy that people are even stopping by to say hi. So I just meant deciding on which Marines to paint green and making salamanders out of. Honestly, you could do that with any kit. You don't have to be stuck with like buying like a specific Marine models. Hell Blasters are always a good kit to get. I mean, it's not pure flamer, I know, but Hell Blasters do come with plasma weapons, which the salamanders are often fond of. Honestly, the jump pack intercessors are awesome. And I think they even come with, maybe I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong. You'd have to double check my homework on this, but I think they even have like a hand flamer option, like a pistol. So you might give that a check out. That might be something worth looking at. So, okay, Miri. Oh, what about the Infernus Marines? Are those are the flamethrower guys? Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, absolutely. That would be perfect too. 100%. That would be perfect. Blang it. Blang it? Really? I meant to say dang it, but me speak English real good. I'm so good at English. For me, I always like stopping by because you're my favorite YouTuber. You're just chill like that. Thank you, Luke. I really do appreciate it. Well, you say chill, I will warn you. I've got a 5-page rant script written up that I will be recording later today after stream. That is ranting about the state of Age of Sigmar with the leaks from yesterday. I will preface: leaks, they're rumors, they're false until they're proven true, like confirmed by the company. But I was pretty pissed off about that, so I'm gonna do a rant video. So I might not be uber chill in that one, but I'm going to plan on trying to keep it family-friendly for the most part. I try really hard to have positive content in the hobby space. There are so many people out there who are negative about Games Workshop, and I'm not a huge fan of Games Workshop myself. I've been completely honest. One of the old adage I heard when I really started to get into the hobby was that nobody likes Warhammer because of GW. Everybody likes Warhammer in spite of GW. And I've always kind of just accepted that. GW will do things to piss off the fans on a regular basis. They don't necessarily care, and what the decisions they make are not always the best ones for the hobby. But the universe that they make is super cool, and the fans are really the true custodians of that hobby, right? Like, great example with the Fem Stodies thing we talked about yesterday. I think the way that they did it was just so ham-fisted and stupid. They could have explained it so much better, but the community as a whole has kind of rejected the idea of Fem Stodies, and they're not necessarily like rejecting like just the idea that they even exist. It's just like rejecting how Games Workshop went about doing it, and I think the fans are the true custodians of the franchises. The pots just don't look good to deal with. Wait. I'm off at 1:30 on Friday, so I'm going to go to an actual store then. Might be a menace about asking all my friends about the paint options, because F the GW ones. The pots just don't look good to deal with. They're not. They're specifically designed to dry out quicker, and they're smaller than normal drip bottles. You want a good recommendation? I'll give you a great recommendation, actually. One of the best paints companies out there right now comes from a former GW employee by Duncan Rhodes, called Too Thin Coats range. Highly good quality. Most of the colors have Citadel equivalents because they're designed to mimic Citadel colors. They come in dripper bottles, 12 milliliter bottles. They're better than the pots because they won't dry out, and they're just as good in terms of quality and a little bit thinner, so you don't have to use as much paint when you're using them. That's Duncan Rhodes Too Thin Coats. Really, really good paint. I can't recommend it enough. I've got 2 of the 3 waves of colors that are out right now in the US. I'm going to try to get the 3rd wave at some point and have all of the paints. They're just super, super good. Everyone's so negative online. Exactly. And I don't want to throw my hat in the ring in terms of making negative content. I'd really want to support and celebrate the hobby that I love so much. But this AoS thing just has really gotten under my skin. And I have so much more disdain for GW as a company. I think I need to talk about it. Just at least in terms of AoS and why it's a bad thing. It's fine, man. You have a really likable personality in general. Reasons why people love watching. Thank you, Luke. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping that this doesn't set a precedent, because this will be the first video I've made in a while. And I feel bad to my subscribers who follow me and have been waiting for my longer form content. But I've been trying to find my voice and how I want to present myself online, and then out of nowhere this happened, and I feel like I have no choice but to throw my hat in the ring in the commentary space, at least just for this one. We women have the Sororitas, which is, in my opinion, more awesome than the genetically modified tooth. Oh, yes. The genetically modified, super soldiers, like the Space Marines, I agree. Sororitas are so cool. I love the Sororitas. And, I'm supposed to be a boy. Girls are supposed to be icky. But the Sororitas range is so good. Warrior nuns with guns. Who doesn't love that? And they're a fan favorite. Of all of them, the Sororitas might have the highest opinion amongst the fan base of 40k. They may not be a favorite faction, but nobody dislikes them. Everybody likes them. And they're amazing. And I hate to see Games Workshop try to get political brownie points by trying to make other factions more diverse instead of just embracing the factions that they already have. I'd love to see a whole new model range for the Adeptus Sororitas. A massive, batch of new models would be so good, in my opinion, because there's so many different ways you could go about doing it. I was writing a comment and my brain stopped mid-sentence. I understand what you mean. I've been there. The Citadel colors have been rebranded to Warhammer colors. Yes, and I think that's stupid. So it's part of the reason I was making the video today is it's the main reason why I'm so angry about the leaks from yesterday is how they treat Sigmar in the leaks. Now, again, it's assuming that the leaks are even true to begin with, but the reason why it bothers me so much is because the reverence for the history of this hobby is just gone. They're embarrassed about it. Warhammer Fantasy is great, and the reason Sigmar dying is such a big deal for me is it's not just because he's the name of the character of Age of Sigmar, But the reason we call it Warhammer to begin with is because of his Warhammer, Gal Maraz. Like, there would be no GW without Warhammer Fantasy. There would be no 40K without Warhammer Fantasy. And people would be like, well, there would be no GW if it wasn't for Battle for Middle-earth. You're not wrong. But guess what? GW still would have existed. They just would be bankrupt by now. It's a completely... And that's their own fault, by the way. You know? I want them to respect the history that's come with the hobby and embrace it, but they feel like it feels like they're embarrassed and they're just too corporatized to even recognize that this is a fan hobby. You need to cater to those fans, and rebranding it to Warhammer colors, sure, it makes some sense from a business perspective, but from a hobby perspective, people are attached to those things. If you change that, you're going to piss people off, and I've seen more people upset about the rebrand than I have anything else as of late until the AoS leaks yesterday. Like, people were more upset about that than the Femstoties thing, and that was a total shit show online. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, sorry. I'll get off my soapbox now, but still, it's just weird. It's just weird, the stuff that they decide to do. You okay, buddy? What you having breathing over there? Is the vacuum scary? Is that the problem? Yeah, vacuum scary. Okay. You can cuddle up over there, Chewy. You're good. I'll need to cut that shim off at some point, but that's okay. I don't need to worry about that right now. I love the texture details on these toes. Wizard, toes. I feel every time I say that word online, I feel like I'm catering to some weird group of people out there. Wizard, I think I've been living with the Rock. What are we? What's the custodian girl thing about? Oh, the colors you talked about from Europe. Sadly, the UK though, so I got to figure that one out. You mean they don't sell too thin coats in Germany? I thought they were available across the EU at most hobby stores. That's shocking. I was under that impression because they're not even available for sale much in the US. There's like 1 or 2 stores in the state that I live in that sell it, and they don't sell very many. I had to buy mine online. But I wanted a big batch of those colors. The female custodies thing. So it was a big deal. And it came out of nowhere a while back. There are rumors about it, but like, what was it? About a year ago, I think. About a year ago, I think it was. I think that's right. They randomly announced that custodies have girls in them, and that's normally wouldn't be a problem. But people were saying, like, GW, excuse me, was saying that there's always been girls in the custodians, and well, that's not true. I mean, they've never explicitly stated, like Space Marines, that they're all exclusively male, that there can be no female Space Marines and whatnot with the custodians, but it's always been boys. It's always been men, right? That's been in the custodians, which, you know, but on its surface, I have no qualms, no issues at all with there being female custodians. But the issue, and the biggest issue for a lot of people, is the whole, there's always been female custodians. No, there isn't. And they randomly dropped that in I think it was a Warhammer community post. The gaslighting was annoying. Exactly. And that's what, like, any discourse about this topic always just devolves to, if you don't like female custodians, you're a sexist. The problem has never been the existence of female custodians. I'm sure that there are some people out there that are just like, no, female custodians are icky. But for the most part, people are just like, no, it's just the way they handled it was the problem. If they had come up with an explanation where, like, the intention by the Emperor was that there was always female custodians, but none ever survived the process, and it's a relatively new thing where they have nothing changed, it's just these particular women who became custodians were to survive the process, or they told a story about how it was always kept secret, like they were used as agents for the Emperor. Like, there's like secret agents for the Emperor. Like, could you imagine someone with the ability of the custodians being a secret agent out in the wild pretending to be a normal human with the reflexes of a custodian's agent in lore? That would be sick. And that the women didn't have like the big bulky musculature that the average custodians did, so they were able to blend into the population or something. That would have been cool. But they just instead decided to turn around and say, no, female custodians have always been a thing. And it really just got under a lot of people's craw. Josh in particular very good friend of the channel, my best friend in real life, my best man at my wedding. He was a huge Custodes guy, and he loved the Custodes. Secret Agents Femme Custodes would have been awesome. Absolutely, they would have been awesome. Like, you have the Eyes of the Emperor, which are Custodes that have, like, reached the end of their prime, and their reaction speed, while still faster than a Space Marine's, is slower than a regular Custodes, so they go off and become the Eyes of the Emperor, a secret order that keeps an eye on the galaxy. That's cool. But you can have female Custodes who are in their prime, out there as secret agents, assassinating enemies of the Emperor, of the Golden Throne, in the name of the Emperor, who don't answer to anybody except the Lord Commander of the Custodes. And it would have been so freaking cool to see that, and I would have loved to have seen something like that. But instead they went with, no, female Custodes have always existed. And the fan base spoke up, and they were like, this is dumb. This is stupid. We don't like this. Fix this. And they gaslit people, and they doubled down and tripled down, and then they went quiet, right? It was literally a lore blurb, just a single one-sentence notation that there have always been female Custodes, and that was it. And that was it for a long time. And then it kind of felt like GW backed off, and they kind of laid low, which is what they normally do when they make a mistake. They lay low. They never admit that it was a mistake to begin with. And it kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe they've gone back to fix this, because new Custodes stuff has come out, and female Custodes haven't been involved. There's no lore about female Custodes. And then there was the Warhammer Plus animation that had a female Custodes in it, which the funny part is, everyone was making fun of the female Custodes in the episode that she was in, because she was an idiot and got herself killed, I believe. I have not actually watched it. I don't have Warhammer Plus, although I will when Astartes Season 2 comes out, because let me tell you, that's a topic for another time. But, there's some really good stuff in there. But she was like an incompetent character that either got a bunch of people killed, got herself killed, or both. And people were clowning on her, and her model looked like, her physical animation model, not like the model on the tabletop, looked ugly. I mean, just looked awful. Even I have to admit that it looked bad. And that was the only other time we had heard from female Custodes, but that was like a quiet confirmation, like, okay, no, GW is gonna stick to this route. They're gonna stick to their guns. They're not gonna go away from it. Female Custodes are here to stay, and it really took a lot of wind out of a lot of people's sails, unfortunately. And then the worst part about the whole thing was, people had kind of like started to quietly accept that this is never gonna go away, and then the most recent release for Custodes that came out had female heads in it, and people were clowning on Games Workshop on Instagram. I remember this because I was taking my wife to a doctor's appointment, and Josh called me. He had made a comment, and it was a one-word comment. He just said gross, and he meant it in reference to the faces on the sculpts. The faces on the sculpts, in my humble opinion, just don't look good, right? And he agreed, and he commented gross on it, and his comment got deleted. And they were deleting comments upon comments upon comments upon comments. In fact, the most liked comments on that post were either comments that were negative about it to GW, or the worst part is comments that had said, like this comment if your comment was deleted, and it had the highest amount of likes. And it was like, GW kept getting clowned on and kept getting clowned on and kept getting clowned on. And the worst part is, the people who were coming out to defend GW are tourists, people who've only been in the hobby for a short time and are trying to inject their ideology into the hobby. And they're like someone commented on Josh and looked at it and said, I was like, yeah, that looks about right. You look like you exude micro-peen energy, and just going after him. When his comment had nothing to do with just like trolling women or anything. It was literally just talking about the way the models looked in the preview pictures, which is a shame, you know. And it's really become this like overly toxic conversational topic to talk about, because it's become highly politicized. And it's a shame that it's become highly politicized, because in most circles, if someone asked me my opinion on Femstodes, all they would hear is, I don't like it, and so most people would just consider me a misogynist and a neckbeard and move on about their day and never even listen to my take to begin with. which is a shame because like there is nuance to this topic that should be discussed, and nobody wants to talk about that. They also could have just said that it's really rare for them to survive, because I bet you they weren't just adding stuff. No one would want a Custodes that gets a period in grid. Exactly. Like, you know, this isn't like Astartes where they came out and said, I mean, it was heavily implied, but it didn't come out and say like, yeah, there are no women Custodes. Women can't survive. No one ever said that. Now, it was implied because Space Marines have that same issue, but they could be just an incredibly rare thing to have happen. It's so rare it only happens like once a millennia, which means 10 Custodes in total were women. You could have a character model. One female Custodes from the Horus Heresy, one female Custodes in 40k, and that's it. That's the only character model that we get, and it's a named character, and that would be more accepted than what's currently going on, and I think that's a shame. They had a really good opportunity. Okay, they don't even want a reason for why you don't like something? Exactly. The discourse has become so toxic around this topic that the second they hear me say I don't like femme Custodes, they think I'm just a misogynist and I hate women. When it has nothing to do with that. I love the fact that there are women getting into this hobby. I want more women in this hobby. I just don't want the hobby to change to cater to women who have no interest in this hobby. It's exactly what happened to Star Wars. Not to beat a dead horse or anything, but that's exactly what happened to Star Wars. Is Star Wars was a male brand, but there were women who were interested in the male brand as it was, right? They just accepted Star Wars for what it was, and they loved Star Wars, okay? Disney bought Star Wars because Star Wars was a male brand and Disney was seen as a female brand, and they wanted to bring men into Disney. But then they got a hold of Star Wars and they tried to turn it into a girls brand, and men don't care for a girls brand, right? It's not like most women, like, it would be hilarious to me if somebody remade The Notebook, for example, and it just turned into a generic action movie with machine guns and explosions. And when women say, we don't like this isn't The Notebook, we just turn around and say, well, you're just being a misandrist and you're sexist. It's the exact same argument. I want women to accept the hobby and love the hobby, and I want more of them in it, but I just don't want the hobby to change to cater to people when you already have a core audience. Just don't betray your core audience. Oh, you're asking Luke about his main army. My main ones right now are Ultramarines, Custodes, and World Eaters with Grey Knights and Astra Militarum close behind, which are fine armies. And I hate to say it, I'm becoming more and more of an Ultramarines fan. They have the coolest characters. Now Captain Titus, my boy Titus was promoted. We got Malum Kaido, also a sick freaking character. I don't care for Kato Sicarius very much. He's a little too much on the main character syndrome path for my liking. Ooh, I just nipped a little bit of my finger. Ow, that hurt. Yeah, I love Ultramarines are quickly becoming my favorite, one of my favorites, and I hate that fact. A friend told me that apparently most women just play stuff like the Tyranids. Yeah, my wife thinks the Tyranids are awesome. She's there's an artist on Instagram who paints Tyranids in what she calls girl pop color schemes, where it's like bright pastel pink rainbows with glitter and rhinestones, and my wife wants to do that. And I'm like, that would be hilarious. I think that's awesome. Finally, your wife plays Tyranids? That's awesome. I think that's amazing. Who doesn't love a good Tyranid? I gotta be honest with you. All the women I met in the store so far played just the fucked up ones. The first one I asked was like, oh, I played Drukari and Slanesh, so yeah. That checks out. Have you seen the Romantasy section on Book Talk lately? Holy moly, dude. Exactly. Thank you, Wizard, for saying what needed to be said. Thank you. Bro, the Ultramarine are just the poster boys of Warhammer Universe, and I'm kind of sad the Imperial Fists only have 2 good characters, and I can't find either one. Exactly. The Imperial Fists get a bad rap. They deserve better. And the problem is, I think the reason they're not more popular is because they're yellow. It's so good to have Titus back in the role that he should be. Exactly. My boy Titus deserved that promotion, but they did my boy Chiron dirty, okay? They shouldn't have killed Chiron off in a Warhammer community article, and neither should they have killed Akaram. But you know what? The only thing I have to say to that is, it's a shame that he died, but we can only spare 3 men for reinforcements. Oh my god, can I put a TikTok link in this chat? I don't mind, please, go right ahead. It depends on what you're linking on TikTok, though. But I don't mind if you do it at all, Mary. Go right ahead. romantasy / dark romance is intruding on actual fantasy. Dude, no, yes, I hate it, and I hate it. It's just another example. It's so stupid that this is even a thing, but it's just another example of Magnus the Pink. Oh, oh. I need you to get that Slaneshi shit out of my chat right now, Mary. You're not wrong, though. It's just another. I miss Grand Fantasy, and I am so sad that I don't like Brandon Sanderson as much as I'd love to. Wait, you can just post links in live stream chats? Yeah, just be careful what you link, because if it's... I'd like the links, even though I'm cussing today, it's just because I was pissed off. I'd like the chat to be somewhat PG-13. Like, throwing the occasional F-bomb, I think, is fine. But, like, you know, nothing too adult in the chat, so... and not in terms of content, like context, just in terms of, like... Don't be posting twerking butts in the chat or anything. Hey, what are you doing? Han, what are you doing? What's going on? You okay? Sweet boy. What are you doing? Han came to say hi. Heresy detected? You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Luke. But that's okay. This is what concerns me. So I will need some super glue to fix this. It's really hard to see. The TikTok I posted has a Magnus with pastel rainbow glitter wings and a bow between his horns. Are you... Oh man, my wife would love that. Yeah, this shim is the only thing holding this piece together. The actual rod for the railing here is snapped. I'll need super glue to fix that, but that's okay. Oh, come on, Girly Pop Warhammer is a funny idea. My wife loves Girly Pop Warhammer. She sends me videos all the time. If she was in the chat right now, she's probably in a meeting or on her way home, but if she was in the chat right now, she'd tell you. She loves Girly Pop Warhammer. She loves sending me that shit all the time. The other one that she likes to send me, I don't know, Final might know this. He's probably seen it on Instagram a time or two. There's some woman out there that's like painting like fine china flower designs all over like dreadnoughts and such, and she sends me that stuff all the time. It's hilarious. So yeah, my wife loves Girly Pop Warhammer. I just hate it personally. It's really all it boils down to. Real Luke, you asked how I was introduced to Warhammer. Well, I've said this story before, and I'll gladly say it here again. The first time I was ever introduced to Warhammer is probably why I love Warhammer Fantasy so much. I was about 10 or 11 years old. Meow Reens, yes, that's who it is. Yes, I remember. Her stuff pops up all the time, and it's really good, and I hate it because it's really good. But I'm like, ugh, it's so cursed. Holy shit! Fine China designs on dreadnoughts. Now that's some patience. Yes, and they look really good too. I hate to be that guy because I want to hate it so much, but they look really good. I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, Luke, when my dad took me to a local game store, and we were there to buy some board game for family game night at my grandparents' house, his parents. And I don't remember much. It was a small store. Maybe 10 people were in it in total. There was a line, and the worker was the only guy there, so my dad was in line for like 20 minutes, and the store was small enough that he could see me kind of walk around anywhere I went in the store and keep an eye on me. And there was this older guy sitting in, I guess it was basically like the shape of a very small rectangle. So it was like in the far back corner in the I guess if I can kind of draw it here with my hand. So like if you have this is the rectangle here, right? Oh, there it goes. The cashier's stand was right here, and there's like the back wall with a whole bunch of stuff displayed behind it. And then all the way in this back corner, you could see from the front door, there's guys at this table. And there was this older guy there, and he was sitting there, and he was building and painting models at the time. And me, undiagnosed at the time, but a 10-year-old autistic kid, went over there, and I saw him building models. And I didn't know it at the time, but they were Empire of Man models. And he had those, and his buddy was building and painting orcs. And he was building these models, and he had some painted models of Empire of Man. And I went over there, and I was just asking him questions. I was a very autistic 10-year-old kid asking this guy questions, and this guy was so patient with me, and was willing to answer all these questions from this annoying kid who just had no end of questions, while my dad was sitting there waiting to check out. And he did. He answered every question I had, in that kind of like terse, not in a rude kind of way, but like he's just answering the question with shorter answers. Not like curt, which is a little rude, but like just quick, short answers because he was concentrating. And he was answering all of my questions that I asked about what the models were and like what they did and why he was doing it, and he would answer them, and he would tell me all the answers. And then eventually my dad finished checking out, and he came over and he apologized. He said, no, he's fine. The kid is more than happy to talk with him. I can't remember much else. He said there was like more conversations, but I was so sucked into looking at the models at the time, and there was just something about it really spoke to me, and it just stuck with me. And then fast forward years later, I may have been like 14 or 15. I was going to a church in Oklahoma called Life Church, and there was a pastor there that my dad got really not close to, but he worked with an awful lot because my dad was getting into the ministry over there for a little while. And we would go over to his house all the time. His name was Alan, and Alan had this big display case filled with Space Marines, and they were the old squatty-bodied firstborn Marines. And I would go over there and I would just look at them in the case, and I'm not gonna lie, they were really cool to look at. Like, I was just sucked in immediately, right? And I would just look at them. And a few years later, we leave that church, and I'm in high school, and my freshman, I think it's my freshman or my sophomore year, but I think it's my freshman year English teacher, who ended up being my English teacher for every year of high school, weirdly enough, she had a church, and we went to her husband's church, who was the pastor there, and we got really close with them for a very, very long time. And he had me come over, and he and his son were gonna play Warhammer. So he had me come over, and I built and I painted my very first Space Marine, and I hadn't seen a Space Marine since Alan, a couple years prior. And come to find out, he knew Alan as well. He and Alan were acquaintances, and they played Warhammer occasionally with each other and all this stuff. And I built my very first Space Marine, and I painted it, and I named him, and it was an Ultramarine. And I remember him telling me I did a really good job painting it, because I'd never painted a model before. And I painted it, and I put trim on the shoulder pad, and I painted the lenses on the helmet, and they were red. And I thought I didn't do a very good job because it didn't look like the box art, which I'm pretty sure everybody in the hobby does at one point in time. And I named him Ananias. And I don't remember why. I think it was because it was a friend of mine who had a character named Ananias in D&D at one point in time. But I named him Ananias, and we played a game, and I've played 2 games of Warhammer my entire life. And this would have been 2011, I think. So that would have been what? 6th edition? 7th edition? 6th edition? I think it was 6th edition. And I played those 2 games. I just bumped the camera. My apologies. I played those 2 games, and I beat my pastor both games. In the squad that I had, Ananias was the last guy standing. All the other ones failed, like Battle Shock test, or whatever, the morale test, or whatever it was called back then. And he was the only one that didn't run away. Ananias was the only, and it was because of Ananias I held that objective. And my pastor was playing orcs, and I put a dreadnought in an alleyway, and all of his orcs were trying to pour down this alleyway, and they couldn't pierce the armor of the dreadnought. So the dreadnought's just sitting there mowing people down, and the orcs couldn't even damage it. And I won that game, and then I won the next game. And I never played another game of Warhammer 40k. I've been in and out of the hobby in terms of like lore and buying models, but I haven't played since those days. Those are the last time I've ever played. And then I guess that's what leads me to today. You know, I wanted to get back into it. I've tried on multiple occasions to start an army. I have failed on multiple occasions to start an army. So like I've done Votan, I've done Space Wolves, and I just never get enough to get a full force, or I something happens. Like I've lost more Space Wolves models than I've ever painted. For example, I still have a box of some of my old Firstborn before the Primaris, and I was determined about 2 years ago. I was determined I wanted to get into the hobby, and I wanted to go to the LVO, at the biggest Warhammer tournament in the world, and I wanted to participate. I wanted to participate in the biggest Warhammer tournament in the world, and I decided at that point in time I'm going to do Knights. I've always wanted to get a Porphyrion. I've always wanted to do something like be the first to bring a Porphyrion to the LVO, which unfortunately that dream has been dashed because they brought one last year. But I can still bring it, and I have made significant strides to making my full 2,000 point Knight list, and I'm super, super close. You know, it's funny, I didn't just like lose them. I've moved 3 different times. I had the start collecting box of Space Marines twice. I still have Bjorn the Fell-Handed. I still have Murderfang. I still have a Venerable Dreadnought somewhere. I have a bunch of Firstborn Blood Claws. But that's all I've got. And they're all Firstborn models, and a lot of them have been moved to Legends, so I can't even use them now anyway, which is a shame. Because Space Wolves were the first army that got me into the hobby, and I love Space Wolves. In terms of lore, and I'm one of the few people who've gotten into actual online and in real life arguments with people, because in my opinion, the Primaris Marines ruin the Space Wolves. Like the whole reason, so I got into Space Wolves because I literally pulled up the wiki back when I was in high school. It was like 2011, and I pulled up the wiki, and the wiki at the time wasn't the nice fandom wiki with shorter articles that have a bunch of hyper. No. This was the kind of wiki that had the blank white background, the occasional like pencil illustrated faces of all of the Primarchs, the occasional piece of artwork, and when you scrolled on it, the scroll wheel barely moved, but you're going like through pages and pages and pages of dialogue. So I read a lot of that wiki in high school, and I literally stopped. I literally stopped doing my work in class, in my graphics design class, and flunked because I was reading the wiki instead of doing my actual work. So, but I read every single Space Marine chapter's lore, all of them. I pulled up a list on it. I've read every single one that was there, and there were hundreds. Most of them were really small articles that barely had any information anyway. So that's kind of like why I went through all of them so quickly. But I narrowed it down to 3. I narrowed it down to 3 chapters that I really thought would be like the perfect suited for me. It was the Black Templars, the Red Templars, and the Space Wolves, obviously. You should try putting Bjorn the Fell-Handed on top of your Knight Porphyrion. I think he would look so cool doing that. You're not wrong. There's a chance. I've got theories coming in that with the ending of 10th edition and the start of 11th edition, there's rumors that another Primarch's coming, and that Primarch could be Perturabo, or I think it'll be Leman Russ, personally. And if it's Leman Russ, let me tell you, we're going to get a new Bjorn the Fell-Handed. There's no way we're not going to get a new Bjorn the Fell-Handed. It has to happen. My boy Bjorn is still a rectangle box dreadnought, and I love the box dreadnought personally. I think that box knots look cool. GW does not like them so much, and I think what's going to happen is they're going to push it into Legends, and they're going to give Bjorn a new treatment, and they're going to make him a Redemptor or something. I got to dip again though, because you know what, Mary, I want to say thank you so much for stopping by. It means a lot that you managed to swing by and say hi. I do deeply appreciate it. I'm sorry I had a shorter stream. I started super late today. Tomorrow, I promise I'll be on time because I have my birthday dinner tomorrow night. So I have to leave here at an appropriate time. So I'll be on time tomorrow, if not early, and I'll be doing a longer stream where I'm just putting the finishing touches on these parts and gluing them together. But really, thank you so much for stopping by. It really does mean a lot. Whew. You really want Perturabo back, Alec? You know what? Here's the thing. Perturabo coming back will be awesome. Do not get me wrong. Perturabo coming back will be absolutely amazing. I just hope that it's not Perturabo first. I love Perturabo. I want Perturabo back. Perturabo will be so freaking cool. But I want Lehman Russ first. Lehman Russ is my boy, my one true beloved. I need him back in the setting. And if we get 2 more Chaos Primarchs before we get a Loyalist Primarch, that means I gotta wait that much longer for my boy. And I think we have way too many Chaos Primarchs. We need 1 more Loyalist before we get another Chaos Primarch. That's my personal opinion, though. It's my personal opinion. For me, I'm secretly praying for Rogel Dorn, though. I know it's not going to be him. It's probably going to be Vulcan or, like you said, Perturabo. But, you know, here's the thing. I think Dorn's not dead. They've retconned Dorn's death multiple times at this point. Dorn's not gone. He will come back. I don't think there's a single Primarch on the table that's not coming back. I know I covered that a little bit yesterday, but I really believe that wholeheartedly. We're going to get every single Primarch back. Guarantee it. It's just a matter of time. I think Rogel Dorn's got to come back. I think what's going to happen is, if we go by if we go by the rumors of, oh really? Well then, happy birthday, Wizard. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, my birthday is well, today's Tuesday. My birthday's Saturday, the 28th. I will be not in the town. I will be out of town. I'm going to a little place known as Woodward, Oklahoma, where my wife and I are going to spend some time just relaxing and not being in the city for a while, which will be really, really nice. Get her out of the town for a bit. You know, we're going to listen to The Magic Sword. I love The Magic Sword. If anyone hasn't listened to it, perfect synthwave album, in my opinion. If it's a little too loud, though, let me know, because I am trying not to blow your eardrums out with this, but it's good music. Can you stop it? What? What are you doing? What is going on? Oh, what is happening? Why are you attacking me, Han? Huh? Why are you attacking me? Go outside? Okay. They need to go outside. 2 seconds, everybody. I'll be right back. Let's go. Come on, Chewie. Come on. Alright. Come on. Let's go. Oh! That's bad. Yep. Son of a bitch. If I get that cat, I'm gonna kill him. If I find that cat, I'm gonna kill him. Okay. You can't really tell. I mean, you can kind of tell. It's not... Man. If the cat had gotten a hold of this, and I'm not sure how he did. I don't know if I knocked it down. There's no other parts on the floor. It's not the end of the world. This will actually be easy to buff out with some like green stuff or something, but he got a hold of both of them a little bit. Damn it. That's annoying. Okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm not like that pissed about it. I think I know where those pieces go. They'll be relatively hidden. No one's going to be able to see it, and I can buff it out with some green stuff or some milliput. So, I'm just annoyed now. Oh well. Fuck. Come on now.
There we go. Aha! I'm back to Bane, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this isn't the end of the world. I'm really, really upset, actually. That really irks the shit out of me. Oh well. Yeah, at least I found them now. It's just, I mean, like, it's so stupid. It's not the worst of it. I mean, this could be a lot worse, and I can really buff a lot of that out, which is really why I now need to, Oh, why do I sound like Bane? Well, I am about to use my Fantic Dremel tool, which I've been charging for now a little while, which is good. But resin dust is incredibly toxic, so you need to be careful about how much of that you're breathing in. And so what I'm currently wearing right now is a respirator, which, well, I'd take it off, but, yeah. Nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask. I wonder which will break first, your spirit or your body. Anyway, I'm just having fun at this point and delaying the inevitable. I have to cut these pieces off of their resin gates, and they're too thick for my nippers, and I don't want to damage the pieces individually. So my plan is I'm going to use this cutting disc on my Fantic Dremel to cut them out of their resin gates, but like I said, resin is incredibly toxic to inhale, and there are a lot of health risks tied to breathing in resin dust. So I wear the respirator to prevent myself from getting horribly ill, and anyway, yeah. I really hope that your cat didn't get poisoned by it. No, it doesn't look like any chunks came off. There's just tooth marks, like, put into the resin. Resin's a relatively soft material. It's just enough tensile strength will cause it to shatter. But the cat's not strong enough to do that. Aha! I noticed something. The gate is in a very awkward position for me. So, yeah, the problem is this trapezoidal shape at the base where the gate is in a very awkward position. Oh yeah, sorry, dude. Yeah, no, I didn't unplug my microphone. Is it still broadcasting? Sorry, I've still got this mask on, and I'm trying to be very careful to not break my very expensive Really? And is it not coming through? Okay, it's okay. Not for sure. Let's see here. Let's check this piece out. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, are you not able to hear me at all, Final? Is that what's going on? I don't understand. Sorry, I've also been like really quiet while cutting. I'm trying to be very careful and concentrating here. Huh. Really? Yeah, Final, can you hear me at all when I'm talking? I know you said you can hear the tool, but what about me actually speaking? I'm actually keeping an eye on the chat now. No? Yeah? I can't tell. Shit. Okay. Very strange. I don't know why it's happening. You can? Okay. You can hear me. Gotcha. That's what's important. At least I'm broadcasting. That's the important thing. On OBS, it says I'm broadcasting. Oh yeah, my... Sorry about that. Well, that's good. I'm sorry, Luke, that was happening to you. Alright, let's try cutting these larger pieces. Not quite time to keep the dogs yet. Got that one cut off. Okay, now, Bane, it's fine, I can hear you now, that's funny. Okay, here we go. Haha! That's kind of... Oh man, this is actually like nerve-wracking. There we go. Alright, let's get this piece cut here. Okay, I think that's not quite there yet, actually. Man, this is getting really hot, too. Okay. We'll do a couple more pieces and I'll be done with the Dremel here for now. I'll do the rest with the actual full Dremel later. Probably off stream tomorrow. But for now, I'll focus on this. Get the last cannon barrels cut off and then we'll call that good. For the Dremel, I should say. I have a question, Wizard. What country are you in? I am in the United States of America, my friend. I live in the proud central state of Oklahoma, just north of Texas. There we go. Canadian, nice. I like Canada. I will admit, I think Canada's pretty freaking cool. Got a lot of natural beauty in that country. I'll actually be visiting Canada in a couple of months. Only a little bit. I'm going on a cruise to Alaska for my honeymoon with me and my wife in the month of May. So there'll be a 2-week time period where I'm gone and not posting any kind of content, but I promise it's for a good cause. I forget where in Canada we're stopping now. There's a specific place we're going to, and I wish I could remember for the life of me what that place was. Okay, here we go. Where are we launching from? Seattle, I believe. We're launching from Seattle. There's a specific town name in Canada we're stopping by for a resupply, I think it was. I just can't remember where it is. I'm looking forward to it, though. We're going out a day early out to the cruise location and spending the whole day wandering around Seattle as a family, seeing some sights, and then we're going up all the way to Alaska. I believe part of the cruise takes us to Ketchikan up there, which would be nice. You know what? I'm making some good progress. Let me just cut out this hip piece right here, and then we'll call it, because this fan tip is getting very warm. This is the most I've used the fan tip in one solid run without break, and that's since I've got the dang thing, so. Oh, I'm gonna bump the microphone. Whoop-hoo. I'm trying to picture a cruise from Oklahoma. Yeah. we're flying out to Seattle, and then taking that cruise all the way up to Ketchikan, Alaska. Spend 9 days out there, and then come home and spend another day in Seattle, and then back to Oklahoma I go. It'll be a nice 2-week vacation for me. So I'm looking forward to it personally. This part right here is the trickiest I've ever had to deal with because of the awkward angle and how long the fancic is, so I'm getting pretty close now. I think I could probably real soon just snap it off the base. Aha, there we go. And my vacuum cleaner has just died. It's okay. Judging by the state of my desk, it's not like it's doing that much. I have to go now, Wizard. I'll probably come back next time you're streaming and see if I can stay longer. I also hope you have a very nice day. You know what, Luke? You have yourself a wonderful day. It has been a fantastic time to have you here, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you in the chat. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, sir. Thank you so much for stopping by. It does mean a lot to me. Okay. I am pushing my luck with this Fantic. It is warm. Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to take my goggles off. Probably my headphones too. I'm going to keep the respirator on because this is a mess. And I'm going to start cleaning up here. Yeah, of course, man. Have a wonderful time, Luke. I will catch you later. I'm going to bring the dogs in real quick, and I'm going to charge my vacuum cleaner and use it to vacuum all of this up real fast. So, bear with me 2 seconds, everybody. Face. That's it. Doggy. Cat is pushing me off of my face. Thanks to God, I really hope that I don't have any missing pieces. I found a base on the ground that you can clearly tell has gone to town. And that's probably the puppy, but no chunks have broken off. He doesn't really chew and swallow anything anyway. He's usually just a chew on things while he's teething kind of puppy, so we'll see. But holy crap. Now, at first glance, I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew resin dust was dangerous, but seeing how the vast majority of the dust in here is like long and stringy, I see why resin dust is incredibly dangerous. This would be a nightmare to get in your lungs. Just judging from what I'm seeing here with how long and stringy it gets. Because I even noticed when I was breaking pieces off of the bases that it gets long and stringy, and that's without like using a cutting implement. That's just breaking it apart. So I could imagine that this is the kind of stuff that gets caught in your lungs. Not a good time. So we'll just go ahead and vacuum that up. Really what needs to happen, and I think it's safe to go ahead and take this off now. Nothing's getting aerosolized, which is good. Also, it's getting like uncomfortably warm in there, and that's from a short period of time. I'm not even like wearing like it for an extended period. I guess that's all dependent on what you would consider an extended period in a respirator. I do have a kit bash lictor I gotta share on your Discord if you get one set up. Yes, actually, I've been distracted today, Alec. That is completely on me. You know what? Before I end the stream today, why don't I go ahead and we'll get together on stream. We'll set up a Discord server. You know what? Actually, we're at a pretty good point here. The only pieces I have left are the big pieces to break off. The carapace and the shoulder mounts for the weapons are the only things I have left to really work on. So, you know what? That sounds like a wonderful idea. Why don't we do that? And we'll just get this pulled up here. We'll just we'll just do that live on stream together. How's that sound, everybody? Let's do that. I'm going to blow the microphone out because I have a little bit of resin dust in it. My apologies for your eardrums, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls. Get back. Get back. I'm not interested in you right now. Puppy chewing on all my stuff. What is going on with that shit? You know better than that. Yeah, okay. We'll bring this over here so I can see the stream. Everybody, say hello to my desktop. This is I have nothing but 40K, nothing but 40K wallpapers that I cycle through, and they're all pretty high quality stuff. You know what? I just realized we're just gonna whoop, move that over here for now, and we'll get this working together. How's that sound? No, I want to keep. Thank you very much. To create my own for club and community. What do we want to call this? I have an idea. We're going to go with the Wizard's Tower. That sounds like it'd be a wonderful name for a server. What do you guys think? Let's see, what do we think? What are we feeling color-wise? I kind of feel like purple. Purple or this Zephyr color, because, you know, the old 80s heavy metal blue. Anyone have any ideas what we should put down for description for our server? Anybody? I'm open to any suggestions we've got at this point. You know what? I will work on the icon later. I have some ideas already. Oh, I'm not even like in the display very well now, am I? There we go. That's probably better. That's not better. What are you doing? I'm a little bit of a boomer when it comes to technology sometimes, which is, you would think that that's hilarious. Nope, we're not going to do that. We'll turn that off. I'm fine with that. Okay, I have an idea.
That sounds ridiculous. A magical place where wizards and autists alike can come together and share their latest arcane works or collaborate on new neurodivergent spells. I'm in. Explicit content? What explicit content is there? What?
Battery
You
low.
can't say autists? What? That's crazy. Are you kidding me? Alright, we'll save the description for later. I'll come up with some funny stuff. I don't have any of that. It's fine. Okay, whatever. I'll come up with funny names later. I'll come up with voice chats later. I will actually do quite a bit here. I will, however... Yeah. And I'll even come up with a symbol, an emblem, an icon for our little tower there. Okay. I will work on getting this properly set up for now and properly moderated, but I'm going to go ahead and get this sorted and post it in the chat before I end the stream, because I do have a video to make. Let's do that. Am I able to post it here? I think I can post it here in the chat. Haha! Just for you guys. Go ahead and feel free to pop on in. I'm going to set up the server. I just got a basic version of it right now. I will properly go in, make a bunch of channels on it. Properly go in and update everything, set the correct permissions and everything. So we will we'll do that there. I will go ahead and get that minimized. Actually, you know, I don't want to minimize that. I'll move that to the second monitor. There you go. Haha, there we go, everybody. Finally getting some people in. That's good. That's good. We'll get that all set up appropriately. My apologies for making the ending of this very, very boring. I'm going to focus on cleaning up. I've got a lot of resin dust everywhere. I'll need to wipe down with a microfiber cloth and some cleaner and make sure my entire establishment is wiped down and cleaned before anybody gets home. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and get recording on that video. But again, I want to say thank you, everybody, for popping in and saying hi and everything. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys for joining the server, and thank you for waiting on me to set up a server. I'll make sure we have plenty of channels for people to hang out with and chit chat and whatnot, and post memes and funny things. I'll come up with rules for the server and everything, and hopefully I'll have that done by tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I can start a little early. My plan is to start at about noon Central Standard Time. We'll see if I can make that happen. I bet you I can do this no problem, but you know, like I said, life sometimes gets in the way. But great stream, man. Looking forward to the video. Thank you, Final. Hopefully I have enough high-octane energy and I have enough ranting that I could do. It'll be very much a giant middle finger to GW, unfortunately, but hopefully it doesn't set a precedent too much. I was the first to join the Discord. You're darn right you were, Alec. You're darn right you were. And my buddy Eddie is also in the chat, apparently. He's just lurking and not posting. Very good friend of mine. Everyone say hi to Edward in the server when you get an opportunity. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. I got a lot of cleaning up to do, and I'm already breathing in some of that dust, and I can feel it in my sinuses. So wish me luck on recording that video, everybody. But I will see you all tomorrow. So thanks for watching.